Dave here, and welcome to another episode of 18 Days Until Halloween, 18 horror movies and 18 horror movie reviews. Today we're looking at 1968's Witchfinder General, starring Vincent Price as Matthew Hopkins, the aforementioned Witchfinder General. It's a period folk horror film, very quintessentially British, very much of its time, very much in the same kind of form as the Wickerman and Blood on Satan's Claw. It's very much that kind of folky, oldie worldy, medieval kind of folk horror. It's also starring Ian Ogilvy, Hilary Dwyer, Robert Russell and Rupert Davis. The screenplay by Reeves and Tom Baker, not that Tom Baker, was based on Ronald Bassett's 1966 novel Witchfinder General, and it's the heavily fictionalised account of the murderous witch hunting exploits of Matthew Hopkins, who was played by Vincent Price, of course. He's a lawyer who was falsely claimed to have been appointed as Witchfinder General by Parliament during the English Civil War to root out sorcery and witchcraft. The plot of the film flows around head soldier Richard Marshall, played by Ogilvy, who relentlessly pursues Matthew Hopkins and his assistant John Stern, played by Russell, after they prey on his fiancée, played by Dwyer, and executes her priestly uncle John Lowes, played by Davis. This film had a very low budget, even for the time, of £83,000, if you can believe it. A very meagre sum that they raised to make this film, and it brought in just over 1.5 million at the box office, so it made a very, very decent profit, actually. But it had plenty of issues in the following years, being bought out on VHS and then DVD and Blu-ray eventually, but it was a very slow process getting it out. There was a director's cut where there was scenes of violence that had been taken out, and there's also another cut of the film as well, for some reason added scenes of nudity, which they had a lot in these films during that time, and in horror generally, to be fair, there's always a bit of that. But yeah, it's a very quintessentially British folky horror film of its time, of the late 60s, early 70s, as we say, with the similarities there with the Wickerman and the Blood on Satan's Claw, Prince of Darkness, those sort of films. Really, those early Hammer horror films, it kind of has that that feel about it. And it's a very well-written film, I would say. I mean, obviously it's taken from a book, and a lot of the times you do find that material's taken from a book or a comic. It's kind of easy to make it quite good, because all the characters and the themes and the and all the words involved and everything are already well established and already been pre-planned and thought out a long time ago. So you're always usually going to have a pretty decent script when you've got a good book to base it from. And I would say that's the case with this film, and it is pretty much as you would imagine. You know, this Matthew Hopkins, played by Price, anointing himself this Witchfinder General, and saying that he has the backing of Parliament, which he doesn't, going around villages, and it's about the whole thing of social collapse and mob mentality and things like that, of people who are a little bit odd or do things slightly differently to everybody else, or even are just a bit quiet and they don't see them a lot, are suddenly marked as witches and had all these horrible tests done on them, with needles put in them and swimming tests dropped into rivers and pools to see if they sunk or whether they swam, and if they didn't sink, then that was it, there was a witch. So yeah, lots of horrible things, people being burnt at the stake, and yeah, and a lot of it was to do with social climbing, so, you know, by going to all these villages and charging them to root out the witches and the warlocks and the sorcerers and the devilment, that they would get paid and they'd make a nice pretty penny from doing it, but they would be doing obviously a pretty horrible, awful, nasty, terrible thing, killing all these people that were innocent. So yeah, I mean, the best thing you can say is probably a few slightly odd, weird people that may have been dangerous, may have been taken out, but that was not in the main. There was a lot of innocent people were murdered. But there's still some funny hammy moments in there. There's still some good funny lines, despite all the horror and terrible nasty stuff going on. Still some funny exchanges and funny moments. And it becomes funny as well with being an older film as well. Things are looked at, certain themes are looked at in ways to which we wouldn't look at them anymore, or say certain things about them that they would then. So it's funny in that side of things as well, and it's controversial in that way. But yeah, it's a very fun film. It's become a bit of a cult classic. In certain places it was classed as a bit of a video nasty, but I don't think it really massively claim that tag as much as other films did. It's kind of on the periphery of kind of that, I would say. But yeah, a good fun medieval romp with great actors, good script, good funny moments. Although it's pertaining to be historical and historically accurate, and not quite a lot of it isn't. A lot of it is dramatised and just made up, but there is some historical stuff in there as well. So it's worth watching the film, and probably afterwards or even before, go and have a look at the original book, Ronald Bassett's 1966 novel, Witchfinder General. Maybe check that out and see what things were put into the film, what things were taken out, and look into like the background of it and see what was historical and what wasn't, what was inspired by things, based on things. It's a good bit of research to do to kind of look at the historical and facts side of things with all this. But yeah, it's a good fun movie. It's a classic, very old classic, one of those horror films that I think you've got to watch at least once. It's in that basket. So yeah, if you haven't watched it, have a look. Let us know what you think. If there's anything from that film that we should mention that we haven't, let us know. Obviously, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to watch our usual Big Show Pod episodes that we've got on the channel, talking about everything and anything to do with geekiness, and the odd celebrity interview as well. Check all those out, and we'll be back very soon with the next horror movie review.